Hello, it's been a very long time and I hope you're doing well. This video is well overdue. Since my last video I uploaded earlier this year and now, I did actually record, I think about 3-4 videos, but I deleted every single one of them because I was not very happy with how they turned out. I wasn't talking very smoothly. I wasn't really covering subjects I felt too passionate about. It felt like I was just talking for the sake of talking and uploading a video, but I didn't have anything valuable to share with you guys. So I do apologize. I haven't made any videos since then, but it was kind of leading up to this because I wanted to make a video when I actually felt like I had something to share, like a new development or a new lesson that I've learned in my life. And I think what I'll do for today's video, I want to cover one thing. Obviously, I'd like to talk about it a lot because it's been like half a year since I uploaded my last video, almost. But for this one video, I want to cover on just one thing, and that would be investing in yourself, especially when certain opportunities come your way. What I mean by that, last year in November, I was working a job for a few months, actually more than a few months, I'd been there for a while, that I didn't quite like. I didn't believe in the product I was selling. I didn't feel passionate about it. I didn't feel confident in what I was trying to sell and communicate with our customers. I'm not saying it was the worst product ever. I definitely saw a lot of people happier using it. But at the same time, for what I was selling, being a sales consultant, I just couldn't do it because I didn't believe in it. I'm not too sure how many of you would have some sort of sales background or anything like that. But selling is a lot easier and you're a lot happier doing it when you actually believe in what you're selling. For me, it wasn't a product I could relate to, so obviously I knew how to do my job, but when I'm speaking to a customer, sometimes they can see it in my face. This guy does not believe what he's doing, and I didn't. So therefore, I wasn't making sales and I wasn't making commission. So that's another reason that I didn't even want to work in this place, because I didn't like what I was selling and I wasn't making money. So around that time last year, November, I started applying for different opportunities, both part-time and full-time, simply because I just wanted to get myself out of there and start making money, whether it was slightly less or slightly more, whatever. I wanted to make money somewhere, find a job for myself where I actually related to or believed in what I was selling. So the job application process began around October last year, October, November. I started applying for part-time, full-time, and it took a long time to find anything that actually not only I applied for, but I actually got a response from. Because I'm sure, as a lot of you have experienced, you can apply for all these jobs, but sometimes they just don't fucking get back to you. So this was quite a tough period for me. I wouldn't say I gave up, because I definitely didn't give up, but when you're applying for all these jobs, maybe you've experienced something else before, applying for jobs, university, just visas, just anything. When you apply for stuff and it's no after no after no for 5 months straight, it can be very demotivating. And I understand it's completely human. I mean, I felt the same for a little bit there. I was like, why did this place not hire me? I felt like I was the perfect person. And then you see the person that got hired and they're like, this guy's fucking incompetent. But then, you know, you apply for all these different jobs and you don't get it. It takes a while and you start wondering when you will actually get an opportunity or if you will get one at all. So it's just trying to stick through that process, no matter how long or tough it might be. Because when you think about it, all you need is one good yes, and then that whole wait was kind of worth it. So for me, I actually applied for, this is the most difficult I've ever found it to find a job. It's never taken me this long. So it took me 5 months. It took me 5 months from trying to find a new job to actually starting my next one. Long as it's ever taken me. Usually it's just taken maybe a few months, couple months here and there. But 5 months to find a new job was like a world fucking record for me. So Seek, Indeed, I was trying to find certain companies that I would like to approach and work for. All these applications I sent, all the cover letters I wrote, nothing really worked out. In January, so around the third month mark when I was trying to find a job, around then I actually went through an interview process with kind of like this health club. I was doing that. I was on the final interview. If you're, by the way, if you're on a final interview for the job I was looking for, it pretty much means you got the job. But I turned it down because they wouldn't answer my questions about income. The job listing did not have income. On the first interview, they did not mention income. I did not ask on the first interview because I didn't want to be that guy. I know it's important to know, but I didn't want to be that guy. Second interview came along, I applied, and they did not give me a straight answer. And then they called me later on. Actually, sorry, I'll go back one step. They gave me a vague answer of the income. And considering I was going from part-time to this new job full-time, the income was not worth the change in hours. For the amount of hours that I worked on part-time, if I worked full-time, it was not as much value. I was better off. I was getting paid more for my time, part-time, than I would have on this new job, full-time. Fuck man, I made that confusing. Anyway, I was making more money part-time than I would have at this new job full-time. So I was like, that's not fucking worth it. If I knew this before and you answered my question before, that would have saved this whole application process because I would not have applied for this part. You would not have wasted my time. I would not have wasted your time if you just told me how much money I was going to make at the start. So that whole interview, I was on the third interview, I pretty much got the offer. I said no, because I wasn't going forward with it. So I went back to the drawing board. I kept applying for more jobs. And then the next month, I had another interview at a place that was a bit more promising because it was in an industry, an environment where I had a bit more experience, related experience. And it was also with the brand that was very, very well known and reputable, not only within Australia, but it's internationally. And as you know, my girlfriend's from Japan. I've always been somewhat interested in potentially moving to Japan. And this company was also Japanese. So I had the interview. The interview went all right. But then they got back to me and they declined the offer. They said, I did not get the job because they thought I wouldn't like it. And this kind of threw me off. It pissed me off just a little bit because across my lifetime, Mr. Eben Tiariki's lifetime, I've had a lot of job applications and I've had a lot of interviews. But here's a fun fact for the day. Every single interview in my life that I've had in person, let's say I applied for a job, sent the cover letter, sent the resume, spoke to them on the phone maybe. Every time I have an interview with them in person, physically, I have got the job. Every single time. Every single time I got invited to an interview, I got the job. For the first time in my life though, for this last one, I went to the interview, they declined it, and I asked them why, and they said it's because they thought I wouldn't like it. And that pissed me off because I definitely would like it. This is exactly the job I want. If I didn't like it, I would not have applied in the first place, and I would not have come to your interview in the first place. So not only was this the first time I got declined after a job interview, but the reason they gave high key pissed me off. Not pissed me off like in a really, really angry way. It just kind of made me it surprised me, it disappointed me, and it kind of pushed me to go for something else. So because I was kind of thrown off, I really thought I had this one, to be honest. But because I didn't, It annoyed me so much that I wanted to apply for a bigger job. And that's what I did. So after that one, after I didn't get that offer, I went for another one. And this one was in a similar field. Luxury something, I won't say what it was because I don't want to dox myself. Ooh. Anyway, in the luxury field, I had this rare opportunity come up. I saw the job listing, and I'm very happy I saw the job listing because it did not show up in my search. For some reason, this wasn't categorized the way I thought it would be, or I just completely missed it. Because, you know, like on some of these job application platforms, you can search the different categories, what kind of fields, what kind of incomes, the location of where you want the job. I had that set, but for some reason, I missed this one. So one day I was just scanning the random applications I was going through. I was like refreshing, and then I saw one. I was like, this looks interesting. I didn't see that one before. And it was from like a week ago. So I was like, oh, surely I still have time to apply. Because sometimes I get worried if a job listed something a week, 2 weeks ago. Depending on how fast some of these companies move, they've already found someone. So I was like, oh shit, I might be a bit late. I looked at the job. It was pretty for a full-on company, well-respected, great reviews, all of that. For an insane brand as well, probably one of the most well-known in the world. And I went for it. I applied for the job. I put 2 hours into the cover letter. I spent 2 hours on the cover letter. Just keep that in mind. That's just the first part, okay? I spent 2 hours on the cover letter. I sent through the resume, all my details, all of that there. And I waited to hear back. And then I did hear back. I got an email. I got an email welcoming me to an interview in person for the next week. And of course I took the interview. I was very excited, especially considering, remember, hundreds of people applied for this job. Hundreds. I think when I applied for it, because you know sometimes on Seek it shows you how many people applied for the job. When I applied for the job, it had 400 applicants already. 400. That's not a small number. It's not a very small number, especially for some guy from New Zealand. I know for some of you out there applying for jobs, 400 might be very little. There's some very competitive jobs out there that receive thousands of applications. But considering for my role that I applied for, there was only one opportunity. Only one person was going to be hired. That's it. So out of 400 applicants, I was one of the few that got chosen to go to the in-person interview. Leading up to the interview, I did not feel like I was prepared. Being in the luxury field, I did not have clothes to the standard I would be expected to wear and present myself with if I was to work there myself. So I did some detective work. This is where we start getting into the interesting part of the video, because I'm going to speak a lot about, you remember before where I mentioned I put 2 hours into the cover letter? This part of the video is going to be about investing in shit. If you have a rare opportunity come up, some sort of occasion, you've got a shot to go for something, you better make the fucking most out of it. Because I'm sick of seeing people complain about where they are in life. Sometimes friends, sometimes family, just whoever, strangers, just whoever. Because you see a lot on the internet, people love complaining. But a lot of them aren't doing anything to change the situation they're in. So now, looking back on this, for example, this is the first time in my life that I had the opportunity to have an interview with a company and brand like this. So I wanted to make the most of it. So the first thing I did, I walked past that business and I walked past similar businesses in the same area. Because I wanted to see what the staff are wearing. So my first mission for myself was to dress like I would if I work there. Because if I'm walking into an interview, I want them to picture me fitting into their team. So one of the easiest ways I can do that, I can help them imagine, is if I'm wearing the clothes and dressing in a way that makes it look like I already work there. So what I did when I was still working at my other job, and even after as well on the weekend, I walked up and down the street. I walked outside the business that I'm at now, and I walked outside other businesses in a similar field because I want to see what they are wearing. And I took note. I literally made a note on my phone what they were wearing. They are wearing this color, this. They are wearing these shoes. They are wearing this t-shirt. They are wearing this da-da-da-da-da-da. I made note of it. Because I had similar clothes already because of my previous job, but they were not to the same standard as these guys. So what I did after this, I spent $500 on my first interview. Keep in mind, everything I'm telling you here, this is what I mean, making the most out of the opportunity. I didn't even have the job yet. I hadn't spoken to anyone in person. It was just email. But I wanted to make the most of this opportunity because I knew how rare it was. I didn't even know if I had the job yet. I spent $350 on some new shoes, which for me was a big deal. I don't go out spending that much money on shoes. That's like the most expensive pair of shoes I've bought for work in my life. $350 on some shoes. I spent $100 on a new t-shirt. Sorry, not a new t-shirt, like kind of like this one, on a new shirt. And socks, because I needed socks, my bad. After that, I spent $50 on a haircut. $350 shoes, $100 clothes, $50 haircut. $500 just for the first interview when I didn't even know I had the job yet. Because I would not feel comfortable walking in there with the clothes that I would usually wear. Now, I don't say this in a way where it's like being all materialistic and like having to have all these nice clothes so I feel better about myself. By presenting myself in that way so they could picture me like I already work there, and then also investing that money in myself, believing in myself that I had what it took to get the job, and then carrying myself in that way where I know I'm wearing clothes that make me feel good because I've put thought and a lot of my hard-earned money into it. I wanted to carry myself in that interview like I belonged to be there. Like I wasn't some out-of-the-place lost guy just hoping for the best, going for this rare opportunity. I actually wanted to just fully fucking do whatever I could to up my chances of actually getting picked, actually getting chosen. And whether or not the clothes helped me get the job, I think I'll never know. But I got the job. I had that first interview. It went well. I was wearing the new shoes I bought for myself. I was wearing the new shirt I bought for myself. I went in with my haircut. I was shaven. I was not like this. It's a bit messy right now. But I was looking good and I was feeling good. And I think that's really important. If you're ever walking into some sort of situation in your life, especially if it's going to be something like as important as a first impression for a job, take care of yourself. You want to make sure you look and feel good. Because as long as you look and feel good, you're probably not going to be stressing too much. And the only thing left for you to really worry about, if that's the right word to use, is just by being yourself and talking to them. Because if you've got the presentation all sorted, you've got that all covered, you've done the research, then all you have to do is just talk to them. And I think a lot of people forget when they go in for these interviews, a lot of the time they already know what your experience is because they've looked at your cover letter and they've looked at your CV. A lot of the time for you people out there, when you're going into an interview, it's not about it's not necessarily about selling yourself. I can understand how that's a part of it. I think when you're going into an interview, it's the most important thing is just to talk to them so they can see who you really are. I felt like I didn't, obviously it was still kind of stressful walking into this interview because they were pretty like, I don't know how to put it. They're people I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of. That's a fine way of putting it. They're people I wanted to leave a good impression on. So it was just like, for me, when I walk in, I don't want to fake anything. Like I said before briefly at the start of the video, I'd never worked in this industry before. I worked in very similar industries, but this specific product, never. But the thing is, they knew that because I already said that on the cover letter. But through everything else, I was able to convey my passion, my eagerness to learn, the drive I bring, the dedication, the standards I hold myself to. And then backing that up in person, not trying to overwhelm them with all these random details, fake like I knew everything. I think they got to see a bit of my authenticity. They got to see a bit of who I really am in person. If you have an opportunity like this, I think it's best, obviously you might be nervous, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you're ever at an interview, it's because they want to meet you. They don't want to meet your experience. They don't want to meet what you know. They don't want to meet the jobs you had in the past. They don't want to meet all this random shit. If you've been invited to an interview in person, I would say for majority of jobs, maybe not all of them, you're at that interview because they want to meet you. They want to just speak to you. They want to feel you like, whoa, Sassy Baka, man. Sorry, not feel you, but they want to just connect with you as a human being. When I went in for the second interview, half of that wasn't even talking about the job. It was just talking to them as people. Like just asking questions about life. I mentioned I was from New Zealand. He'd been to New Zealand recently. We started talking about that. Where did you go? Waiheke Island, Maine. I went there for December. I went there in December and I spent some time there with my partner. It was beautiful. Weather was nice. Beautiful sights. Nice food. That second interview, we weren't even talking about the fucking job, man. We were just humans connecting. So I was just like... But the thing is, I would never have had that second interview if I didn't invest in it in the first place. And I didn't come in with that mindset where I believed in myself. And I felt like because I'd done the work, I'd researched the business, the product a little bit, and because I actually invested in the clothes I was wearing, the shoes, I felt like I already belonged there. So I want you guys to give that a go. I know I've been talking a lot about jobs in this video, job applications, things like that. But this can apply to a lot of things in life as well. It took me 5 months to find this job. It took me a fucking long time. For me, 5 months is a long time to find a job. Some of you might be less or more than that, I don't know. But during that 5 months, it was kind of annoying, man. Like, you get close, but you don't. And then you get close, and then you're not. But then all it takes is that one yes for an opportunity. You go for it and it works out. And then you realize that 5-month wait was worth it. And then it's happy days. This is one of the first jobs I've had in my life where I wake up in the morning and actually don't mind it. I actually look forward to it. The people I get to speak every day, the work I'm doing. When you're able to provide people with an experience or a way for them to celebrate a special moment in their life, it's a nice feeling. So I just wanted to share this little story. I know it's quite a long video, but that's alright. Because if I never applied for this job, if I never received the rejections from the other jobs, I reckon if I didn't buy those shoes $350, I would not have been the same person walking into the interview, because I just would have felt out of place. So I just want to say, if you've got an opportunity, go for it. Actually go for it. Don't do some 80% go for it bullshit. Actually go for it 100%. When's the last time you heard someone spend 2 hours on a cover letter? 1 hour fixing up their resume specifically for this job? 2 hours shopping? It didn't have to be 2 hours shopping, but I wanted to get good shoes, so it took me some time to do my research. $500? Even before I had that second interview, I was also researching the different models, the different products and services available within the business and the brand that we represent. And I even sent them, for the first time in my life, this is another thing I did. I sent them a follow-up email after an interview, just thanking them for their time. I thanked them for their time, which probably took me another hour to write. I thanked them for their time, the points and questions that they answered for me during the interview, and how they're exactly the answers I was hoping for, and that they really resonated with me. And I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for me to put into words what I'm thinking. I'm sorry if these videos are a mess, because I'm talking about a million different things at once. But I think what I'm just trying to say, if you've got an opportunity like this, actually fucking go for it. Because what if I put an hour into the cover letter? What if I bought some cheaper shoes? It might not have turned out the way it did. We'll never know, because I did turn out. But who knows? Maybe if I didn't do that stuff, I wouldn't have even been invited to the interview in the first place. Or I just wouldn't have gotten the job. But because I came, I believed in myself. I presented myself. I carried myself in a way where it felt like I actually belonged to be in that environment. It became my reality. And I'm pretty fucking happy and grateful that it happened. And I know sometimes it might be tough, because I just said, if you've got an opportunity, make the most out of it. But what about that 5 months? What about that 5 months before I started that job? You've just got to stick through. Because like I said before, all it takes is just one yes, and then the wait would be worth it. It's kind of like me, like, I'm making it a bit too personal now, but for my relationship, for example, for a very long time, I did not have anyone. I didn't need anyone. Sometimes I didn't even want anyone. But anyway, I struggled finding someone that I would really just connect with. For years, actually. It took me a very long time to find someone I related to on that level, or that I actually wanted to have a relationship with. But after a long time, I did find someone that I enjoy spending my time with. And like I said before, it's just that one yes. Because, for example, my relationship now, it's actually the first relationship I've ever really been in. I was one in the past. That doesn't really count because of how young I was, I think. But anyway, let's just say this is my first relationship. For a very long time coming, I was a bit lost. I wouldn't say I was losing hope, but it was hard to find someone. Kind of like this job application process. But the moment you have that one yes, it makes the whole wait worth it. So if you're in a similar position right now, you're trying to find something for yourself, you're just looking for a window somewhere, you're trying to find a new job, maybe you want to move somewhere, you're trying to apply for a visa, you're trying to apply for a special school or university that means a lot to you. Even just something like a relationship, man. Just don't give up. Keep going. I know sometimes it's fucking shit. I know sometimes it's shit. You just kind of want to give up. You're losing hope. But just keep going. Because if you do, at some point you're going to get a yes. And then you'll realize it was worth all the hard work, it was worth all your patience, it was worth all the fucking tears or whatever the fuck. You're going to have one opportunity and you better make the most out of it. But when that turns into a yes, you are going to be very happy that you never gave up. Because that's where I'm at right now, and I'm pretty fucking happy with myself. That's it, man. 30 minutes. Fuck, tell this guy to shut up. He talks too much. I love you guys so much, man. Keep loving the world around you. Keep experiencing it. Make life happen. I've got some big travel plans coming up next year that I'm looking forward to. I want to experience more life. This shit's exciting, man. And now that I'm actually in a position where I can put money aside to experience other things, things are going well, man. They weren't always like this. I wasn't always in the position that I'm in now. But I think that's what makes it feel so much better. And this could be you too. So don't give up and keep going. And I love you guys, and I'm happy I made this video because it's been a long time. Peace. Take care.